Library time. Got all the scrolls in order. Last episode. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Everybody, get in here.
What?
Yeah.
Who made the mess?
Who
Who
we?
made the mess?
What mess?
Why are all the scrolls everywhere? 83 episodes. 83. We are on the last episode.
I literally just got here.
Why is this all a mess now? Pete, was this you?
No.
Katie?
I just got here.
Okay, Brayden, I'm looking at you.
Look, I got here last, so you can't blame me for anything. And arguably, it's been a mess.
It was not. Last night, I walked out of this, closed the door, everything was immaculate. Somebody needs to fess up.
How hard did you slam the door?
No, you are not putting this on me. This place was clean.
I mean, I did see that Sunflash stole Bella's motorcycle again, and it was really going up and down the streets. Could that have caused a reaction?
Remind me to revoke this library card.
Okay, folks, we are back at the Road Crew, Book 3.
Woo!
We're finally here.
We are here. We made it. There's no more spoilers. Rose dies.
Oh, no!
We never found Mr. Squirrel officially, but, you know.
No, I think the Abbott he's a mister and he's a squirrel.
Yeah, I've always said I would be a mole, honestly. But
Because they lead such simple lives.
no, I just think there was never a mole Abbott in this entire franchise.
I just don't think it's a position that they would want.
No.
I
You're saying
mean,
we didn't get one in the Mole series?
So, Book 3. I had to remind myself, like, what was going on, because it's been a while since we took at this, but, yeah.
I went ahead and re-listened to episode 2 in preparation.
I did too, actually, because my tablet is at the hospital right now, so I don't have access to my Braille copy of the book.
Oh yeah, there is no audiobook.
There is no audiobook. Sad, sad days.
You know, if they were to actually come out, fill in the audiobooks with ones that didn't get them, would you want just a singular narrator, like Jake's did for a few of them, or would you want full acting out?
Actually, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast yet. There is a version of Lord Brocktree that was released in 2022, narrated by, I believe it's James Faulkner. It's very good. Not quite as good as the lovely, comforting Brian Jakes, but it is very good.
I would love to see all of the old cast return, but have the narrator, instead of it being Brian Jakes, have it Mark Jakes.
That could work. Yeah, or one of his. Doesn't he have another son as well?
Yes, David Jakes, I believe. He's the one that took the photo that appeared on the back cover of a lot of the newer volumes.
Yeah, something like that. That'd be fair. I don't know. I can never find any information on what the cast is doing these days. Like, it's really hard to find information on voice actors, but they're also good. And if they're doing other stuff, I want to know about it.
Yeah. Agreed. So, Road Crew.
Road Crew.
When we left off, it was another cliffhanger because the Road Crew, the Long Patrol Hares? No, the terrible hedgehog guy had been confronted by foxes.
Yes, and Posey.
Mm-hmm. I'll go.
We're not moral foxes, and I was like, it should have been.
So, Book 3 is, by the way, All Forward to Redwall is the name.
With an exclamation point.
I noticed.
Yeah.
And the book, the individual Book 3 cover art is another weird one with, like, the last two where it's kind of that, what's the word I'm looking for? Glyph art, but it's actually an animal.
Yeah,
making up the glyph.
it's like Celtic knotwork of
Yes.
2 rats intertwined with a trident.
Honestly, though, when I looked at that, my first instinct was, is that a possum?
Yeah, the tail is kind of possumish, but it's clearly
So is the face.
supposed to be a rat. Yeah.
So, yes, and that is going to be a subject of a future episode. I guess we should already say that, folks. We're not done here, folks. Yes, this is the last book, the last section of the last book. We still have more episodes to come.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get rid of us that easily.
I'm not done talking about Redwall. Are you kidding me?
Do that
So, well, I suppose a better question is, will we ever be done talking about Redwall?
Oh, who knows?
No.
But ultimately, yes. This is just the last section of the last printed book. I mean, we still don't have official word on the Netflix series. I don't know that we ever will. But
I'm not holding
Sadly.
out hope.
it could. Yeah, I'm not hopeful at this point. It still could come. So. All right. So. Book 3 is All Forward to Redwall, and remember we left off the cliffhanger. Chapter 26. Chapter 26's art is one of these foxes, and
How anthropomorphic are they?
so how anthropomorphic are they? Incredibly here, because he is straight up wearing clothes like head to toe with a hat or hood with his ears sticking out, and got a crossbow pointing at someone off screen.
There you go.
This might not be the time to bring this up, but I was thinking about how much swimming there is in the next couple chapters, and no one has wet clothing. So I was thinking, how much clothing are they wearing? Do they
Hold
have
that thought.
obvious clothing?
Hold that thought, because there's also going to be a
Okay.
point where a character, which we'll address, gets a bath, and the reactions afterward implies they are incredibly naked.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to address that at that time too.
Yeah, we'll put
Yeah,
a
okay.
spike in it and come back.
We'll put no spikes in it.
That's not gonna end with these books.
The chapter begins with Score Exxon, the otter, holding one of the other foxes by his ears, ow, and basically saying to the leader of these foxes, hey, if you shoot the youngins, I'm going to kill your fox.
Yep, which I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
No.
And immediately after is basically the twin claymore blades. That's the black hair, right?
Rick
Rick
Nightfur.
Nightfur.
Thank you. And he's just like, oh yeah, you're going to be second in line. So yeah, the foxes are having a bit of a bad day.
Yes, and all of our different groups have united together.
Yeah, they
One way
have.
to do it.
They take a fair bit to get to Redwall, but we'll go over that. And the foxes realize they're beat, and they're like, okay, fine, we won't kill your people, or the annoying hedgehog. This time.
This time.
Yep.
Hmm.
And the basically to ask, like, hey, what are we going to do with these vermin? And Score is just straight up, we're killing them? And
What they
Long
do.
Patrol are like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, given what happens later, though, I think they maybe should have.
Yeah.
This is what I wrote in my notes before I had any inclination of the later scene. Because the quote from Captain Rake was, we're warriors, not murderers.
I
And
do that all the time.
I wrote that, the note of, Rake perfectly compares the Long Patrol and the behavior of the rogue crew. One is idealistic and the other utilitarian. Both serve to keep each other safe, but how they do it is different, and that's where conflict can arise.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, I did just watch Transformers 1, which is a surprisingly good movie. Actually is well written, and it has nothing to do with the Michael Bay ones, so... But that's kind of the whole Optimus versus Megatron debate, the whole movie, so...
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm usually more of an optimist person, but, like, I may have a slight grudge because Jakes did... slight spoilers for a little bit ahead, but he did kill off one of my favorite characters in this book. So I'm like, I really kind of surprised that Score Axehound didn't be like, why didn't you let me kill them? It's your fault.
Yeah.
But he didn't, which was...
We'll cut to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they tie the foxes up to a tree while they help themselves to the fox's food. Wait, are we sure these are good guys here?
Right. Well, it's better than killing him.
I mean, but no one is pretty impressed by crossbows. I'm like, they can still kill, but okay.
Martial arts dogma is a big thing in this series in general.
You know, and then this is what I had to do a double take on two things here. This next part where they're talking about what food they're eating. Quote, Lanchbeck Sage roasted a slice of the cauliflower fungus on a crossbow bolt. Okay, but what is he eating? Is this actual fungus?
I forgot to look that up.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue some mushrooms do develop that kind of cauliflower look. Fine. And then the next thing and I'm pretty sure this is a joke, or maybe it's just haha, but basically says, they're asking, oh, what type of fungus is this? Poison puffball.
Yeah. The cauliflower fungus is real.
Okay.
It's a mushroom.
There we go.
All right.
My question is, why was that on the tip of an arrow?
Say that again. You were a little...
Sorry. My question is, why was that on the tip of an arrow?
Yeah, that's strange.
They're roasting it like a marshmallow, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a little unsanitary.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
crackers, you know.
Matthias, I recall that we have seen Gossamer shrews in the past literally to heat up their beer will stick a red hot sword into said beer.
We had a badger that made scones on his forge, so you know.
Yeah. It's just when I first read it, it was like maybe this is just the part of my brain that's played too many video games with like weird fantasy arrows, like green arrows, trick arrows. Yeah. It's like, wait, is that like the head of the arrow has been replaced by a mushroom? What is going on? Maybe then you could understand my confusion.
Well, the conversation moves here to probably my least favorite character here, Drogbug.
Oh, yeah. He gets annoying very fast. Not that he already wasn't, but...
he can't remember the way to Redwall. Because you forget things when you're old.
To be fair.
Now, don't get me wrong. I turned 40 this year, and yeah, have I forgotten things over time? Sure. Have a lot more sympathy for my parents when they were of a similar age, and you go to set yourself a task, and you get distracted by Ooh Shiny, and you've literally forgotten why you walked into the room? Yeah. But you've had one job.
Yeah.
I know I keep saying this in this franchise, but you have one job.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, he seems like a non-functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
I mean, Ambrose Spike was less of an alcoholic than this guy.
Yeah.
Also, if you stop and think about it, he does make one very good point where he's like, basically, I didn't say I knew for certain the way to Redwall. I said, I think I know a shortcut. So I can give him 1 point, just one. Everybody else was quick to jump on his I think I remember and treat it as I know.
Fair enough.
That's lawyering. He was definitely lawyering.
This is on you.
If you look back in my direct quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, while they're discussing this, the foxes somehow escape. They leave their fabulous black and green capes behind. So,
They Marl Fox it.
Oh, God, now I get them. So...
I was like, everything about this felt Marl Foxy except for the name.
Here's my question. The Long Patrol has had how many seasons, much less hundreds of years, to know the way to Redwall? Granted, the 20 hairs that set out weren't intending to go to Redwall. But does this not come up in training, or do they not have a map? fine.
I'm wondering
No
if it's
compasses.
specifically like one of the gallopers, the runners, if that's something that they're taught, because, oh, you're acting as a scout, you need to know the lay of the land. It would normally fall under their auspices rather than, the officers whose job it is to make decisions, not to know all the pieces and specific information.
There.
I mean, also this is like a shortcut, so it's probably like an unfamiliar part of the woods. Like it's not what you would call the ordinary route to Redwall.
Noted for the record. Anyway, so yeah, foxes do a skedaddle, and there was only a handful of them. What, 7-ish?
Yeah.
7.
And
Yeah.
then they're
Like Marl Foxes again.
Yep.
we should probably get out of here before they come back. It's like, you have 20 hares. You have how many otters? The biggest thing is that they're worried because that there's, the foxes and potentially toads have blowpipes and poison darts. Like, okay, discretion is the better part of valor. Fine. But if we're talking sheer numbers, it's just like, I think you have the advantage. But this whole next scene plays like the 7 fox or so are stalking them, like it's a horror movie. It's like, when I was reading this, I'm like, guys, I'm not impressed. Like, okay, you remember you have the numbers advantage, right? And numbers aren't everything, I'm aware, but still. But what does Drugbug get out of his trouble for forgetting where Redwall is? He gets a palanquin.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he's kind of weight, to be fair. Literally.
Well, they keep going. They keep running for the potential. Is it a tunnel? No, that's not yet.
It's going for a cave to begin with.
Yeah.
Exit stage right. I mean, to be fair, they do lose 1 or 2 people during all of this, but one of the road crew and Otter goes down. Garant.
There was some sort of line where I was like, oh, he's gonna bite it soon. I can't remember where it was, but
Yeah.
it felt very like, oh, yeah, that's the line of somebody who's gonna die.
I mean, I'm just wondering, why are the foxes bothering to continue? Yeah, you got humiliated, but there's a lot more of them than there are you.
Because a lot of vermin bands tend to be run by people who are A, very egotistical, and B, very likely to see any slight against their ego as being very personal and a threat to their continued ability to be in charge.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, it almost, I would say, all of the big bads can't take any personal criticism here.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fair. We finally get back to Redwall after, but only in this cave. The last thing we're told in this cave is that there's huge dark shapes descending on the heroes.
Oh boy.
Before that, because the foxes do come back and they attack their allies who do use poison blowpipes. At one point it says there was a high-pitched fox call, a yipping. All I could think of was, oh, is that what the fox says?
Oh, God.
God. Oh, continue.
Oh, no, you want me to...
No, take point.
Okay.
You know the
Well,
price
I
that comes with this sometimes.
Come on, I'm trying to lighten the mood here. You're
I know.
down. Anyway, so we go back to Redwall, and worst named otter, Dorka Gertie, is up on the wall top, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a great day, blah 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 blah. And what do they happen to see but a couple of Dibbins that are just going to do the thing that Dibbins always do that they're told not to do. Go up on the wall top. So in the middle of trying to get them off the wall top, what do they see off in the distance? It's the sail of the Green Shroud. Just like Ugo's dream that everybody was like, yeah, that's not real. Oh yeah, it was real.
What they don't know is that the ship is broken. A wheel needs Mossflower AAA.
Yes. I hope they've been paying their membership dues.
Oh, never mind. No, that doesn't actually happen. It's a joke. But yeah, there's a ship in the distance. And, Redwall, the franchise is changing continuity here. I have to wonder, because we've seen the Redwall Abbey depicted like the forest is maybe 20, 30 feet away from the main door. Or in this case, it's some distance, and there's fields in between.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out, as much flack as we've given to the Abbot Fib in previous episodes for not being the most personable, he is very clearly got the whole Grace Under Fire shtick down to an absolute T. Because
to a
he's
point,
like,
there's going to be a spot later where I think he was genuinely panicking.
Yeah, but he very smoothly and casually was just like, okay, everybody, here's what we're going to do. He does it with such finesse, you'd think he was handling these kinds of urgent situations on a weekly basis.
Have we ever seen an abbot totally panic? I don't remember.
Say maybe Pearls of Lutra when what's her name gives the game away that he's the abbot.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't see that as panicking. I just seemed like, you shouldn't have done that, kind of thing. But like, I think it would have been interesting if we had an abbot be like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Just like.
Well, remember, in some generations of these franchise, Martin has to pick the high officers because that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a thing. So, but yeah, to Matthias's point, there's a good thing there's no red alert button for the abbot to hit and the klaxons to go off. There is a hair alert, which
yes.
they will meet later.
There are the bells and the drum, in theory, that they had since Raggedy Tam and is never mentioned again.
Totally forgot about that.
The canonically non-canon drum.
Yes.
So, chapter 27 begins with kind of pointing out what I was depicting earlier. The ship on wheels is some distance away from the Redwall, but you can see both.
Yeah,
right.
The ship's in the foreground. Looks like the top of a large hill, with the Abbey looking like way downhill off in the distance.
Yep. And yeah, the begins with the seer Shakra, I believe.
Yes.
Being told, "Hey, we found Redwall. Go wake the captain." And hey, the captain's awake. Funny that.
You thought I'd be sleeping.
Yeah, she's expecting him to sleep and be like, "No, I'm awake." Like, okay.
Yeah.
So
is it bad dreams again? Yes, it's bad dreams again.
Yeah, and this is where Clooney in the Dark Force is like, "Oh boy, I can't wait. Go make popcorn."
Because Martin's doing the whole nightmare shtick again.
Oh, it worked the first time, and every other time since.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's like in his contract.
I mean, he has to have his appearances, remember? So.
Yes.
And the seer, again, did we say this one was a charlatan or no, actually a seer? So. I don't remember here.
I think Charlotte did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And he even, Resident Wear points out at one point, it's like, are you really a seer or are you more a soothsayer?
Yeah. I'll bet you, depending on the business, they'd be like, I'm that's offensive.
Well. But basically, it's like the mouse. It's in armor. I love the exchange here. It's like, I have to consult my omens. What did the mouse look like? It's like a mouse.
Yeah, which that sent me in a weird little spiral of like, I've never thought about the features that distinguish mice from each other. Do some of them have different eyebrows? Like,
But I mean,
Wait.
yeah.
So if we're discussing faces, is it possible for a mouse to have a mole?
oh, yes.
Think about that. I'm not even saying that to be funny. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, if you think about it, it's like we never hear about distinguishing facial marks beyond grievous injuries or whiskers.
Occasionally we get fur color differences, but that's not common.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I also love the Vixen later comments of, beware the flames from the sword. Remember, it's fire that was almost killed you. I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
I'd rather
I
forget
hadn't
that. Thank
forgotten.
you very much.
But I do love this last bit where he's like, okay, now when we actually attack, everybody's in front of me because I'm leading from the back. Why? So I can only trust those who are in front of me. I'm like, okay, fair point.
I mean, if you're going to rule by, tyrannical force, then of course you're not going to trust anybody to be behind you.
Yeah. Back at the Abbey, they're like, the Dimmons are like, I want to see the ship. Let me see the ship. And they're like, no. Go get breakfast.
That's such a little kid thing,
Yeah,
though.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I like breakfast.
I was all like kids are easily distracted. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, again, the adults here are just like, so that's probably vermin, and yeah, we're going to be under siege, so let's keep the kids indoors. Good idea? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, take a head count this time.
Yes.
Right.
I like that the abbot immediately holds mini council of war, listens to everybody that has an opinion, and he implements, very solid, quick strategy without any muss or fuss. It's like, I'm guessing he had to have dipped into the archives and had some idea of how to handle these sorts of situations.
At the same time, don't mess with infirmary sisters, because good God. Sister Fisk is the one who comes up, let's set the walls on fire.
I like it.
Yeah, to which I had to write the note. Please excuse me. I had a lot of fun with this because it popped into my head and I just had to go with it. Goodness gracious, great walls of fire.
No, I'll give you that one. But to be fair, sandstone's already a weak stone as it is. Which, okay, fine. I don't expect the vermin ship to actually knock sandstone down. But I mean, I was able to break sandstone, maybe not with my bare hands, but smacking sandstone against another harder stone. If you add heat in the way of that kind of fire, you're probably going to make this stone even weaker. This is a thing in martial arts, whole breaking bricks or whatnot. This is something I actually coincidentally was talking with my own sensei the other day about a movie that did this. No, if you set something like that on fire, you're weakening it. So. Not that we have to worry about the Abbey walls falling, at least. But, okay, yeah, let's set the tops on fire.
Yes. I think going back to the infirmary sister thing, I think a lot of them are just slightly unhinged. Like, even Sister Cicely and Sister Alkanet had their moments of, like, I'm not the infirmary sister anymore, but I'm the cellar keeper, and I'm going to put interesting tasting stuff in the drinks.
And let's not forget Sister May.
I was going to say, and Sister May's just like, and I will knock everyone out.
Yeah.
I have a theory that all of them are, they're in the wrong genre and setting. If they were in, like, Victorian London, like, thriller novels, they would all be the mad scientist that makes the monster.
Yes.
So,
They all
while
think
they
they're
were
Nurse
planning
Ratched.
this, we go back to the vermin and find there's a mutiny being planned. Never seen this before.
Nope. This will go well.
First
I'm
time
sure.
for everything.
Yep. To be fair, the mutineers are Moleg, Shekra, and Jibbery, and they're all like, "Hey, it might be better if we wait to kill him until kill our boss until after we've taken over the Soft Abbey."
I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty good idea.
Yes.
Well,
We use him and all of his big power to break them, and then in a moment of weakness, then we get him.
I'm sure this won't completely come back to bite us.
No.
No.
Oh, of course not. Hey, wait, is that the boss watching us?
Nah.
That's never happened before either.
And Redwall was just like, well, that ship's getting closer. Anyone seen the abbot? Oh no, he ran inside screaming. Don't worry. All seriousness, he's apparently standing in front of the tapestry. So
Yeah. When in doubt.
yep.
Consult the Martin Oracle.
Exactly.
Yep. As the ship gets closer, it's just like, when do we attack? So, and to be fair, the seer actually does have some good wisdom here. Yeah, we're a ship on wheels, and we have Corsairs, true, but we do not know the literal numbers of creatures they've got, and it's a stronghold with walls. So, parlay.
Yes, I think she is very smart. Like, kind of quick on her feet, quick thinker. Definitely not a true seer, but definitely able to.
Oh, the Charlatan class of seers have got to be very good at reading people in order to survive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they do.
She is what I imagine a lot of the the female second in commands, especially like Lantor from Moral Fox, where it's instead of it being like, okay, I'm big and strong like the male character is, as a female character, I'm going to use my wits instead of my, physical strength.
Yeah, pretty much.
You say she outfoxes them.
See, I'm not the only one.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Hey, I've made my
You
own
did this. You did this.
Hey,
So
don't put this on me, Bob.
I have to admit that this next sequence is pretty funny because the Vermin group are like, okay, well, maybe we can talk this through diplomacy, parlay. And the Redwallers are just like, no.
Do not negotiate with terrorists.
No.
Right.
And just they light the fire up. And now the wall tops are currently on fire.
And someone is triggered pretty hard.
Yeah, he is.
Understandably.
Can you blame him? Yeah.
No, I can't.
He's got both a fire complex, and he just had a nightmare about a mouse holding a flaming sword. And what's that over there? Oh, it's a mouse with a flaming sword.
Oh. Oh, where did he come from?
Tell me, have you ever seen Martin the Warrior and Abbot Fib in the same place at the same time?
Mm.
Oh. Chapter 28's art is kind of boring. It's just it's a keg of something with a bunch of beakers next to it. Mugs.
Still life.
Yep.
Well then.
Ambrose Spike's implements in repose.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much. So our wake up with the combined good guy crew here is just like, what's all that around us? Oh God, I don't know what this is. But Score tells his son, like, hey, stop that. Don't just strike out randomly. And, it's bats. Okay. We have bats for the last time in the series.
And at
Aww.
this point in my notes, I wrote, wait, because the bats were just kind of flying around. They weren't doing anything beyond just acting like animals. Like, wait, are these bats not sentient? Weird.
We'll get to that.
We will.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that. But at the moment, it was like, that would have been a very weird, just like, sideways turn for Brian to make.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we know bats are sentient. They've been in several books before this. So.
They talk weird and everything.
And everything.
I resent that.
At least they're not sales. So, yeah. The Redwallers are just the Redwallers. The good guy crew here are just like, yep. And except they're just like, bats. So they basically get moving again because they're still worried about other people coming through. But hey, they light torches in the caves and are slowly bringing Drockbuck behind them.
Yes, and this whole thing, like, whenever we go to the rogue crew and the hares and like Swiffo and all them, I kind of have this sense of dread over my subsequent read-throughs because I remember there's a certain event that happens that makes me sad, but I didn't remember exactly when it was. So I'm just like, is this where it happens? Nope. It's just like this sense of dread. I'm like, maybe this time it won't happen.
Oh, but I
Remember it wrong.
find more reason to dislike Uggo in this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need more reason to dislike Uggo. He might be my least favorite protagonist out of all the books, actually.
I mean, he's not like...
Yeah.
He's not as bad as like one or two of the hares we've encountered over the years. You know the one.
I know the one.
Or two.
He's a main character.
So, and
however, in the meantime, we do have one of the best supporting characters. Sergeant Miggery continues to be amazing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Yep, because it suggested, hey, there's a snake. Oh. And I have to admit, I kind of like, this is both series lore and like real life lore. The shrews, when told that there's a snake in the nearby, are like, oh, they just start panicking.
Yes.
Because, shrews would be a very common snack for snakes in real life.
And it has happened in the series before.
Yeah, as it is. So we have an adder who goes unnamed, fully grown female, quote, and it's going after bats because it's hungry. That's what it does. And yeah, the hares go after it in a pretty awesome sequence.
Yes.
So Captain Rake thrusts the claymore at the snake when it tries to strike at him, and the snake apparently clamps its mouth down on the blade edge, and Sergeant Miggery comes back in and goes, "Sure you can!" Twice.
That's basically the image I had going in my head.
I thought of it like an old Tyson fight, but yeah.
Play Gaio's theme goes with everything here, because yes. And Sergeant Miggery knocks its fangs out.
Ow.
With the blows in the sword.
That's gonna hurt in the morning.
If it didn't just render the snake unable to hunt, which probably did.
Well, if that didn't render it unable to hunt, what happens soon
Yeah, that's the
will.
least.
Yeah, oh yeah. Thankfully, the snake doesn't have to suffer long, because wow. And that might help them with the bats. They just killed the predator. Or disabled it, anyway.
Yes.
Then the Long Patrol asked their worst singer to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why they would ask the worst singer to sing. It seems like an absolutely terrible idea.
Basically, the one who they asked to sing is Durander. He's like, basically, he's complaining about lack of food, and they're like, hey, stop it. And it kind of a joke, like, I'm going to put you up on charges if you don't sing to get us out of this. But he has been, quote, Durander had been long voted the worst singer in the Long Patrol.
Yeah, so they already knew this. Why would, unless they temporarily forgot?
And then the bats turn on all of them.
Yeah.
In their defense, it's been a long week.
Yeah,
And the snake's like, somehow this is worse than getting my fangs knocked out.
Snake's just like, kill me, please. Oh, okay, and there it goes. The bats are not getting off the cliff. Huh. Bye, Snake.
Snake go down the hole.
Technically, that's in chapter 29. It got a little ahead of us, but hey. Other thing that goes back to the vermin ship, and they're like, huh. Oh, sorry, goes back to Redwall, and our ghost mouse with a flaming sword was the abbot. Huh. But not. At first, I'm like, oh, he's actually wearing like Martin/Matthias's armor here. No, he's not. They are using Martin's sword, which is probably good because, again, burning a sword is probably a bad idea for the longevity of the blade.
Yes.
But, we have a battle abbot.
Yep. He used like all kinds of random equipment from like the kitchens to be able to cobble together something that resembled armor, including, what was it, a trifle pan or something?
Yeah, copper trifle mold.
Yep, to act as a helmet. And it looks pretty conclusively like Martin's armor either no longer exists or at least is not known to exist any longer.
Yeah, when's the last time we saw that?
If you recall, the shield was the shield even mentioned in Metamail? Because it was in the original book, and that may have been about it.
I don't believe so. It was just Matameo. I don't even know if it was in Mossflower or...
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was just in
despite being
Matameo.
Martin's armor and shield, that was never actually Martin's hands in his own books.
Yes, just in fanfic.
But, yeah, I'm like, okay, a battle abbot actually could be a really good idea. You've merged roles between abbot and the warrior. Hey, no, just a fool. It's just a ruse. Okay, fine. We're also told that the abbot was basically like watching the tapestry, and he's just like, I don't know what I was going to do. I sat down on the floor next to the tapestry, and then suddenly, basically, we take inspiration. Martin gave him the inspiration. He's like, grabbed the sword and disguised himself as Martin and ran up to the wall top.
There you go.
Martin the Warrior as a live service.
Oh no! Does that mean we get a subscription to Martin the Warrior?
Yes.
It's 999 candy chestnuts per month.
Yes. They get a sense of pride and accomplishment with the rest of it.
Oh, cheap cut.
So back on the vermin ship now. They're like, so what are we going to do now? I mean, they're going to sit behind their stone walls. So it's like, go get me 6 good-sized trees. Pines are first. Some good straight ones. I legitimately thought he was going to make a battering ram the first time I was reading this.
Yeah, I thought Grant was going to happen.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's, yeah. Meanwhile, Rez is kind of mean-spirited to his seer, who, as you recall, was halfway forced or maybe volunteered for this mutiny.
Yes.
And he basically confronts her like, yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he didn't really, it's a good guess.
Yes. Insert random Skyrim guard number 15 quote. What about you and your honeyed words?
Yep.
Yeah, Shekhar will do basically anything to save her own skin.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
And she gets her paw pierced for the trouble.
Owie.
That happens a lot in this book.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have to admit, he's like, you're getting blood on my carpet. Go.
And we can see that our big bad has slowly started to spiral out of control, both in being a power-crazed baddie as well as a distrusting boss.
Which is surprising because he trusts the cook, Badtooth, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the only thing that's really separating him from going full Gebel.
Yeah, he has the cook like, hey, can you spy on the crew because you hear more than I do? Like, yeah, I even have my nephew out there keeping an ear out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Badtooth is no Glurma. Glurma was my favorite.
She didn't even spit in the soup.
That we know of.
That we know of.
So we go back to Redwall, and where it's the Dimmins' bedtime, and yeah, they're excited. They want to see the ship. And oh my god, not only do we get a Dimmins against bedtime reference before the word dab took on something else.
Yeah, I know.
But they basically they bribe the kids with plum cordial, and also what are they pouring into? Oh, they're drugging the kids.
Mm-hmm.
At least it wasn't the full Sister May special.
Oh
Yes.
Why are the kids not waking up? No reason.
Oh, they're fine.
Are they breathing? Yeah. That one's turning blue.
Mm.
But
Won't
it's
have
not
bedtime ever again.
It's not much. Quote, it's majorum oil, pure and harmless. The best slumber medicine I know. But literally Fisk is like, I shouldn't say this, but I wish the Dimmins would sleep through all of this. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get a point. Like,
yeah, I understand it. It's just like, at the same time, maybe don't use medicine to do that sort of thing.
Those kids are going to wake up with tiny little hangovers.
Yes.
So chapter 29 actually begins proper with Art of the Bats. And going back to how anthropomorphic are they, not that bats have ever really been on the anthropomorphic side. They've always been on the feral side. So, because they're not wearing anything. The art shows them hanging from the ceiling, for the record.
Yeah.
Have any of the winged creatures really worn stuff in this franchise?
Maybe birds get adorned with something extra now and then, but that's about it.
I remember in Mossflower there was artwork of Chip wearing like the little Disney Robin Hood like peasant's cap thing.
Yeah, Renaissance Fair hat.
Oh, okay. And I think Wild King McPherson had something, but I don't think he had like any type of clothes.
And then it was Nutwing. He had a pair of spectacles, didn't he?
Ah, yes.
But yes, chapter 29 begins with they're kind of being watched by the bats while the bats are toss a snake off the cliff.
Like the best day of their lives.
Yeah.
You suck.
You suck.
Oh, we were told that the adder is complaining, like hissing and whatnot, and frustrating. But no, they throw it off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And after they do that, the biggest bat has a group bring them a long, rough cable quote of woven root and twine. And the only bat we actually get to hear speak, he's like, I'm Hipposphere?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have an audiobook.
Nope.
I pronounce it hypo, like hypodermic needle, but then I made this whole logical train about bats in my head. But
Hyposphere then. He's like, I'm big wing of this tribe, so I can presume leader. Quote, you are Stonepaw, huh? Savior of our
I just
babes and
decided
old
this.
ones.
Stone paw, TM.
Thank you. They thank him and says, go follow the sweet smell and live long and prosper. I must go now. My colony needs me.
Oh, I have to include this here. You know the Spock with the fingers pressed together, live long and prosper.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this absolutely hysterical joke based off of that, where you do the gesture and you say, "Don't play with super glue."
Yeah, that's accurate. So they got a rope, and to try to stretch across the cliff edge, which the other side's already tied. So the bastard's giving them the other end.
And this bridge and this setting, because it's, tunnel with giant hole that they need to cross on this very delicate little bridge. This gave me very strong Zumbini vibes.
I was thinking more like Emperor's New Groove, where they're crossing the bridge and then fighting from the bridge, and yeah.
Oh.
I can see that too.
So they don't fight on the bridge, thankfully.
Yes.
Or you could go full on Disney's George of the Jungle, where they swing the rope bridge, one guy falls over. It's like no one dies in this. They just get very big boo-boos.
Thought about that movie in 20 years.
I know. But yes, they cross the rope bridge, and they're like, okay, we have to find a sweet smell. Well, it's not Drugbuck, because literally they ask him, like, when was the last time you had a bath?
Yeah.
Smelly old man.
That will come back
Shortly.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they keep going through this cave, and we get a Gossam song about food.
Because why
Of
not?
course.
Yeah.
Yep. And they realize the sweet cement is just, it's open air, like from the outside of the cave. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
But coming up, they sent Otter Scouts ahead, and they got captured by a group of largely weasels. There's some other ones, and I'm like, my first instinct was like, are these Flitcheye? Because
Doesn't seem like it.
They're not named any particular tribe, but it seems like it would be Flitcheye.
Especially if it was sweet smell.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
But the two otters are just like, we got captured.
Oh, well.
Yep. And again, the reason I thought we ran into Flitcheye is because this group of 30 or so vermin are pretty explicit that they like to eat other creatures.
And we're very nonchalant about it, too.
We're not talking like, the questions of vermin eating birds or fish. I mean, the good guys eat fish, but oh no, that they're going to eat the otters. Okay.
There's a lot of like I think like we said last time with Gulo, it was like you definitely know that it's not a joke, but with them it's like, are they serious?
I hope they aren't serious.
Same here, but I'm leaning towards it. I think they are.
I thought they were too, yeah.
Yep.
We then get another epic moment of Sergeant Miggery being awesome with absolutely perfect comedic timing, where he just casually appears amongst the vermin with a little and proceeds to just ask them questions and whatnot, and they're like, what are you doing here? Only for everybody else to just kind of emerge and be like, yeah, this is ours now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, like taking someone else's food.
Yes.
But yes, the good guy crew here, they go after the mermaid. It's not a long fight, like at all. Basically, most of those 30 or so, they run away, run away, run away. But they have like the seeming leader, this overweight ferret. That's captured.
He doesn't need the food anyway.
Yep.
He
Meme.
probably stands to shed some extra calories from his diet. Just saying.
Rude.
But to get answers out of his ferret, the first thing the otters do is they are apparently carrying hot root pepper on hand.
Well, yeah.
Ah, yes, the hot root torture.
Yeah, they basically pour hot root soup down this guy's throat, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, torture via soup. I never thought I would see that. I mean, we don't even need maggoty apples. Just
Right.
No, a ruler would approve, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh, totally.
It would have been funny though if this guy was just like, "Ooh, that's delicious. Give me more."
Yep. And literally, it's just like the ferret's just like, it's burning me my mouth off, and it's like, don't be reckless. We bring our babes up out that. I'm like, do you hate your children?
As somebody who has a very low tolerance for spice and heat, I would think the answer would be maybe. It's not that they inherently hate their children, it's that their children might just naturally grow to resent them if they don't have a taste for spicy food.
Fair
they just
enough.
burned off all their taste buds as babies.
I mean, you can do that with like the worst spicy stuff. It's dead in your sense if you eat too much of it. So
it's also one of the reasons why elderly folk like spicy food, because it's one of the few things, as their sense of taste starts to go, that actually gives them like the sensation of flavor.
basically, he does give them the shortcut to Redwall, and that's about it. So they give him water to cool his mouth down because wow.
Which doesn't actually help, I've heard.
No.
It depends on the spice. Like in my experience, like especially the type of food. Like Thai food is very hard to quench, but what we would consider Mexican food is much easier to do.
Yeah, it's the level of capsaicin that is in the spice. The higher the level, the more you need to have protein to bind to the capsaicin to alleviate the burning sensation, which is why things like milk or ice cream are often recommended, because there's fats and proteins in there that will attach to the thing that's making your mouth burn.
Yes.
Physically removing the burn.
Mm-hmm.
I always like milk myself.
Yeah. So ultimately, once the ferret gives away the bearings, they realize he's very stinky. And they're like, you know what? I really hate smelling this guy. So grab the stinky old hedgehog, and we're going to wash him as well as this ferret. So,
Yay.
and this is where it gets weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Now, we get introduced to a different member of the Piltut clan who apparently also left Redwall. Penny. Why not?
I like her.
Oh, I love her. She's an awesome character. But then she's just laughing at, because apparently he's Drogba's kin, but she's not like she likes him. And more to the point, when they finish bathing Drogba, he comes out, quote, Drogba had emerged from the stream without a single quill on his scrawny frame.
Which is odd.
Begs the question, is he in such poor health his quills are falling out?
Yeah, what would that even look like?
I think it's inferring that he's old, just because some of the previous descriptions were talking about like loose spikes rattling around and whatnot. So I
Mhm.
think this is more along the lines of, you know how old people their hair gets thinner and then it tends to fall out? Imagine somebody scrubbing your grandpa's scalp so much that all of his hair just falls out.
Fair
Woo!
enough. Like I said, this is where it gets weird. He is incredibly naked, and while we've had certainly characters, the question of anthropomorphic and feral has been brought up many times before tonight. Even characters who, if they may be wearing clothes but maybe not be wearing pants, there's been nothing implied that things are showing to keep this PG as possible. It's kind of implied here. Like, everyone's reacting like you're seeing someone very naked.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And like
They're just-
you have to lose your actual exterior layer to be naked.
And they're literally like, cover up. And they hand him a cloak the ferret had been wearing.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to go back to Penny for just a second, we get a third Wilted appearing in this book, and my only thought was, are they this book's Gonflin?
I think it's a
Which-
fourth, isn't it?
Fourth, maybe? But,
Yeah, because we have Uggo, Twogs.
Oh,
Yeah, Joe.
it is a
oh
fourth.
yeah, I forgot about Twogs.
Or
But
Twogs.
yes, they are in fact this book's Gonflin, because my next immediate note is, yep. When they end up going with Penny, just to jump ahead for a second, and she talks about her experience. She used to live at Redwall, but then it was kind of contentious with her apparently stealing food, and she's like, no, I didn't. And besides, there weren't enough strawberries on that trifle.
It's a theme here.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently the Wilson family never does well at Redwall. Here, but she knows more exact directions, thankfully.
Yeah.
And what happened to the ferret? Did he just disappear?
This is like, yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of unclear.
They're bad at keeping prisoners.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And this leads to very bad consequences.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically it's just like, yep, we're gonna go back to Redwall because that's the whole thing. And Drugbook is taking this well. Quote, I ain't talking to you ever again. You're the savage who scrubbed all my poor spines off. It's like... Honestly, what purpose does he serve at this point? Other than he's old, probably wouldn't make it if they let him go.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be that.
To be hated on, yeah.
I mean, I'm all for
So-
comic relief characters when necessary, but
It's
He's
not
the
very
hedgehog version of Fleet Scut.
thank you.
funny. Yeah.
If Fleet Scut was even more useless.
Yep. So chapter 30 begins with our big bad, remember, who is scarred from flame. And supposed to be a rat. Were-rat. So he is holding the trident and looking just off camera, kind of scowling. And he really needs to see the Vermin dentist, because it's more than just like his front fangs. Several of his teeth have escaped his lips.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he really needs to see the go get his nails done, because yeah, they're long and sharp looking.
He probably likes them that way for the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Also for
Evil.
the gouging of flesh of various uncooperative crewmates.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's kind of in a bad mood because Redwall had just scared him off with fire.
I put in my notes, methinks Razid is about to pull like a Bull, or at least a Sarmina.
Yes.
So the whole reason he wanted 6 long planks is basically to build a bridge over the ditch that his ship can travel over. But they'll literally drop it basically in front of the ship when they get close. Fine. But the whole plan is straight out of naval warfare here. I noticed, because it's literally ramming speed.
Mm-hmm. But the exact trick that he he's planning pulling off of dropping the logs right before about to cross the ditch, just so that lands it in place. It reminds me of like some Flash physics game from the late 2000s.
Yeah. Tower defense.
So, and he also asks his Seer, if he can trust her. Like, sure.
Why would you ask that question?
If you already know the answer, why did you have to ask?
Right.
Or better yet, if you have already decided the answer, why did you have to ask?
Yeah, and then his boatswain, Gibbery, goes into a popular ditty about roasting their captain.
Why would you do that?
Clearly, that's a comic roast, right? Not fire roast.
Mm-hmm.
But again, why would you do that? Like, you know how sensitive your captain is.
Seems like a very, very ill-advised idea.
Oh, the captain ran off crying again.
You hurt his feelings. How dare you? What did he ever do to you? Wait, no, don't answer that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he's just... Rez takes it well that they're making fun of... Allegedly making fun of him with a common song that vermin know.
Yes.
Okay. He kind of just basically takes an extra bit of their stew. Or is it skillion dev? Look, there's cauldron and it's bubbling over. And it lands on the bosun's tail.
Ouch.
Yep. So, basically, yeah, we're told the plan is we're going to wait till the wind's in our favor, then we're going to ram the front door. And we'll cover later here if that plan actually works to ram the Abbey Gates front door. But, you'd figure the Abbey Gates are probably incredibly thick wood.
Yeah.
So, don't get me wrong, I believe a ship could get a lot of energy, but we're talking a ship that also has the extra weight of wheels, and you're not in water, you're on land.
Mm-hmm.
Gets his crew going, and yay, we're going to take over the Abbey, and I'm sure this will totally work for you. So, back with the Long Patrol, road crew, etc., they wake up to breakfast.
Sounds like a pretty epic breakfast, too.
Oh, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Penny apparently is just like, she really likes to cook. So she's cooking everybody breakfast.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Which explains why she was kicked out of the Abbey to begin with. She just has a really, really strong affection for good tasting food. And was like, no, we don't want you here anymore. You keep stealing our food. She's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and Rake really likes her cooking because it's just like, hey, this tastes like my grandmother used to make them.
Just
I like her.
Used to make.
Yep. Yep, I really, and Penny's also, she managed to cower hares.
Yes.
Disciplined hares, but hares, like, you will form a line and you will be smart.
Yeah, if you want my food, you will do as I say. Yes, Marm.
Yeah, didn't it say she wasn't, like, she was no shy young blossom or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's also using a ladle to wrap their hands.
Yes.
At least she doesn't want to wrap that ladle around the outer rudders.
No, that's the wrong book.
I know. I was waiting for you to comment on that.
So it's basically, how much further is it to Redwall? And it's like, we should make it just after evening if we're at a good pace.
And if none of us die. Oh, wait.
I'm sure that won't happen.
Oh, of course not.
No.
Meanwhile, after they pack up and get going and back on march, they let one of their own start doing a marching song and give away their position.
Yay.
And one of the otters is having a very difficult time staying in step, and I love this line. She says, I'm in perfect step, just all the rest of you who aren't.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
And Miggery has just the greatest response. It says, Biggery raised his eyes imploringly skyward and fell silent.
Yeah.
My God.
He's just the best. Why is he the best? I'm not complaining. I want more of him. Please give me more Sergeant Biggery.
I mean, we've all done that look before.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, the best example I've ever seen of it in a movie is Young Frankenstein. After the blind man smashes the monster's cup, and he just like looks dead up, like, really?
Yeah. Gonna make espresso.
Next, so basically, we need a climber to go up that tree, and we'll be able to see Redwall.
No, don't do it.
This can't
Why?
end. This will end well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what squirrels are for. They should only be letting squirrels do this.
Is there a squirrel in this book?
There's like one.
I mean, there's
Wow.
the abbot, but I don't
Yes.
think the abbot counts in this case.
He's pretending to be a mouse these days, so.
Cosplay.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
So Score's son Swiftio is the one climbing up the tree, and he's doing this in competition with Dandy, the Gotham chieftain, and yeah, hey, look, it's the bell tower roof. Redwall's not terribly far. And we suddenly get a yell of, look out, Swiftio, there he is, look out. And Swiftio takes an arrow to the neck.
Yep. Makes me very sad because he was one of my favorite characters in this whole book.
Score takes it well.
Very well.
Yeah.
If by very
This
well
is-
you mean berserk rage.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I mean, for Score Axe Hound, that is probably taking it pretty
That's
well.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
And my note was simply, well, that soured my mood considerably.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Swifto.
Yeah.
And
He was such a good guy, like a
No.
nice, like peaceful, fun-loving, playful guy.
So
That was the thing.
Score-
Every time they mentioned that, I was like, he's not gonna last, is he?
Yeah, it's
Ah.
unfortunate.
Score briefly holds his son and then puts him on the ground and charges after the fox.
Yeah, but brother's already on it.
Yeah. And they try to hold Score back, and it's just like, oh man.
Mm.
They're pointing out you can't outrun a fox. You're too old for that.
Yeah, you're not going to catch him. You're basically going to go completely off script here just because you are an emotional wreck at the moment. Stop and take a breath.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. When you said that, I had this image where everybody's like takes out their scripts. It's like, but yep, Ruggin, his other son, catches up with the fox. And, hey, Dad, would you like a present? Here you go. It's the fox's head.
I'm sure that's a very valuable present to the road crew people, though. They're just like,
Oh,
cool.
totally. Yeah.
Oh, son, it's just what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this to make a new chalice.
Oh, that's
Gross.
dark.
That's
dark.
gross.
Mm.
Huh. And what do you know? It's also Kestrel Vane, the lord of the fox chief, who they kind of embarrassed earlier. Funny.
Yeah,
that.
see, this is where I was like, it wouldn't have surprised me if Score was like, this is your fault. You should have just let us kill him. If you would have let us kill him, my son would still be alive.
Well, they put it together because apparently the ferret Viglet, who got the bath, he was not fair because he's also dead and because they killed him. And it's like, the ferret must have told the fox where to find us.
Mm.
Yep.
I will postulate if they had just kept a better watch on the ferret, then he wouldn't have escaped to tell the fox.
Yeah, they're kind of bad at watching prisoners in this book.
Yeah, if they were just actually good at their jobs.
Yep. So they're basically like, well, we'll bury him when we get to Redwall.
Sad.
Yep.
Yes.
This this and stuff that happens later too, legit made me tear up. Like I didn't have an emotion reaction to a lot of the deaths in this book, just because I don't know. I just don't know if I got to know the characters a lot. But with Swiffo, it did legit make me sad.
So, Chapter 31, continuing on this really chipper mood. Chapter 31's artwork is Swiftio's funeral.
Yep.
Terror, shrews, and otters gather around an open grave. And not to take away too much from the seriousness of the situation, but how has Redwall not filled up its graveyards by now?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
As I understand it, at least for human graves, the remains generally break down. I think it's within like 50 or 100 years or something like that, at which point the grave can then be reused.
Right.
So a lot of European graveyards are, where once, held a person, then gets reused for another, and then over the course of, centuries, it's been occupied many times.
Yep.
If you guys hear yelping, that's just my dog having a dream. Nothing to worry about.
Bless you guys.
So, but yes, Redwall's are just like, well, we know they're going to come back, so that's going to be great.
Yes.
So, hey, the vermin ship's moving. So, I want to make sure they... Meals. Is this where they're coming back? Oh, great, into the west. So they're going away for the Abbey at this point.
They're like, what's going on?
And all I could just think of is like, hey guys, what's that beeping sound? And there's a backup alarm on the ship.
That's funny.
I was thinking like that part from Holy Grail where Sir Lancelot just keeps running towards the castle.
Yeah, that's good. And hey, go ahead, Matthias.
Yeah, you see an absolutely enormous truck back up. It's got the boat hitch on the back of the trailer. It's just like, okay, yep, we're leaving now. Wait, did you just do quotes with your claws? No, I didn't.
So they're like, I guess the vermin are completely gone, right? Nah. But they're like, hey, what's that sound coming in from the wall gate? Oh, I'm sure it's nothing.
More of them.
So, yep, and they realize, hey, we have otters, sea otters no less, hares. Oh no, hares, and a couple of shrews outside our wall. Hit the hare alarm! And in the kitchens, you see red alert klaxons go off.
Yeah.
And then you there's just this voice, probably Patrick Warburton, because he's got that really deep bass voice, and it's just hares.
There you go.
And all the cooks go scrambling.
And you get one going past the camera, and they're just kind of screaming as they go.
I mean, they had to have that alarm ever since all the way back at Long Patrol, when 1,000 Long Patrol hares probably ate them out of every bit of food.
Fortunately, there's only 20 this time.
Yes.
Or even with Basil. They might have made it with Basil.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Or Pickle Fulgur before Basil. Or Tarquin. I bet it was Tarquin.
Oh, it's always Tarquin.
Yep.
It's Tarquin's fault.
Yep. And Abbott Tibb's like, oh, good. Neat shields. I mean, come on in.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we really need you right now. You want food? Okay. Now, I know we just made this joke about the hair alarm, but literally, when they literally say, point the way, father, and send some beast to warn the cook.
Well, they do have a protocol.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Huh. Wiltids. They're back. Huh.
Oh no.
This Posey one's nice.
Oh,
like,
that's
hey,
because she's not a Wilson.
right? And then, hey, what happened to Jum? Oh, I'm sure he's fine.
You know.
This has no bearing on the future of this book whatsoever. I'm sure he'll show up at some point without any nod to Mr. Chekhov whatsoever.
Of course not.
Although on a more serious note, they do place Swithio's body wrapped up in front of the bell tower to be buried later. With an interesting note, the abbot tells Score, oh, there's a lovely little quiet spot behind the bell tower, which would indicate that the bell tower is not connected to the abbey walls in any way, shape, or form. That's like a freestanding structure.
Yeah. Huh.
And that's I don't know. That I've always taken like the bell tower would have been part of the main structure, but hey, it's weird.
Yeah, and in Doom White, they were
is
also saying that it was separate too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, you have to remember, I grew up watching the animated show where it was literally connected to the main abbey building.
Ah.
So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, the bell tower was built later. Like, Redwall Abbey itself was minute, but come the bell maker, they didn't have a bell yet. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the good guy squad do think like, okay, let's be smart about this. Let's go ahead and get some guards up online and make sure we have them watching all night long. And the Dibbins look at Drogbuck, who, yeah, I'm not surprised. They're like, what are you?
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
He is not gracious with the children at all.
Well,
no.
Oh yeah,
he's had
and
a long day too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Drogbuck's also like, wait a minute, we know that name. We've banned you twice.
Get out of here, you reprobate.
I guess they have a few more outcasts of Redwall these days.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, fine, only because there are vermin in the area you can stay. Oh, and apparently the fighting squad is going to be sleeping in Cavern Hole. Okay.
As is tradition.
And they're like, yeah, so I love how the abbot's just like, so we scared them off and they're going to be gone, right? No.
Yeah.
I will make the only reference I know for Game of Thrones. Score sounds basically like, winter is coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I loved about this is that, and I want to make sure confirm that this was the right chapter. The Redwall, the good guy squads are like, huh. So that's what they're probably going to do then. They figure out the bad guy's plan pretty easily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's relatively obvious.
Yeah.
Yep, they're going to come in, use the ship as a battering ram, and probably try to break down the main doors. So, okay, what would
happen? What would happen if we didn't lock the gates?
We took that away from them.
Wait, you're going to let them ram the front? Yeah, it'll be fine. So, I don't know. Part of me thinks that the door is going to take damage one way or another, whether you lock them or not. So, is this the risk if the ship hits the doors while they're locked? Are they worrying that's going to break the stonework around it? So that's why they're unlocking it? Or is it just unlocking it to take them by surprise?
I think it's that one.
Yeah, I think it's the second one.
Yeah, imagine, if you will, somebody is charging your front door with a battering ram, and then you suddenly open it just before they hit, and then they just go charging straight through. Suddenly, the momentum that they were expecting to stop at your literal doorstep is then carrying them inside to where
you don't have to justify this. I'm all for full-on Looney Tunes gags here.
Oh, Looney Tunes gags are my favorite.
I do like a couple of moments here, like other in this chapter is like Score's just like, look, I just lost my son. I would rather be mourning right now, but I can't because my crew is kind of looking to me. I'll mourn later. And I mean, all of us could probably hear we've been through probably our fair share, and that sometimes all you can do in the wake of death is just power on through. And deal with your feelings at a later point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and not only are scratch that, take two. So the vermin are basically counting on wind to come up, and it was that. It's a storm.
Oh boy.
Lecker.
So I'm kind of wishing that lightning just comes down and just roasts Razid right on the spot.
Yeah, like a Captain Riften situation from Triss.
Huh, he caught on
Funny.
fire again. Put me out! Put me out! I don't know, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, I would find the whole thing rather shocking.
Hilarious.
Chapter 32's artwork is the ship's mast with the crow's nest on top and sails, and what looks like a ferret like looking out the top of the crow's nest while wind and rain are blowing it.
Oh boy. I've got to step away for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Yep. So Razid, while the chapter begins, he's just like, "So, my seer, shall I tell you what I see?" And she doesn't have a chance to reply before he is literally shaking her. It's like, while he's telling this, "A night for a storm, for swift sailing, for blood and slaughter, for victory. Sir, I can't." I can imagine just like cooking like back and forth. I get it.
He's
Another question you
basically
didn't
like,
really need to ask.
yeah, he's basically shaking her like, tell me what I want to hear.
Sir, you've knocked her out.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have. Anyway, but he's right for all the wrong reasons. It is a night for blood, slaughter, death, and victory. Just not for him.
Spoilers.
I mean, it's a Redwall book.
Wait,
Yeah, I
you're
know.
saying he
Okay.
doesn't win? What? No.
So
Don't be naive, man.
he's literally
What do I
starts he starts laughing insane. We're told this. Haul on the anchor cable and put out every scrap of sail. And they start moving towards the Abbey for ramming speed. But he also has
literally turned himself into Gebel 2.0.
Yeah.
Even Gabul in the Afterlife's just like, dude, what is up with this guy?
Take a chill pill, man.
So he also has his traitorous ones like, hey, guys, you're going to live at the front where you're going to drop the bridge at exactly the right moment. And if you don't get it right, I'm killing you. Let's just be honest.
It'll probably kill you anyway. But you know.
Yeah. Yep. And they start moving forward. And Razid really believes that when he rams the front of the Abbey in the middle of the night, everyone's going to be asleep. I don't think they're that stupid.
I think he assumes a lot about the state of Woodlanders, showing just how really stupid he is.
I mean, we talked about this back during Rackety Tam, how Gulo is regarded as the dumbest big bad boss. I'm not sure. Maybe you could argue that he's insane, but still.
Yeah, there's a line to be drawn between book smarts, street smarts, and just having good instincts. I will say Gulo had some decent instincts. They weren't always right, but when they counted, they pulled through. Razid has decent instincts, but he has absolutely terrible street smarts.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're just preparing for ramming speed. Haha, fun. This will be fun, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and tells us his seer, like, if the true, totally not traitorous guys don't do their job, it's on you. Oh, okay. But she points out, you kind of ruined my paw. Well, sucks to be you then.
Yeah. That's beside the point.
So this is where I knew it was coming. I knew this was exactly where Brian was going to do it, or whoever finished this book, which we will talk about in a bit here. Go has a sword of Martin, and he's.
Yep.
I put literally in my notes, Ugo has wielding Martin's sword. Definitely not what Pete was hoping for.
No. He has been ordered by the abbot to guard the door against all comers. So the core of the Redwallers are all indoors, basically locked inside the abbey, while all the fighters are out off the wall top gate and whatnot, and they're basically waiting for the ship to come in and gonna go choppy, slicey. So Uggo's kind of like last line of defense kind of scenario.
Couldn't pick a better choice.
Here's the thing that frustrates me about this book. In previous books, whoever invariably wields the Sword of Martin, there's definitely a bit of a hero's journey, whether that follows that particular plotline or not.
That's what I was thinking.
I haven't seen Uggo actually step up at any point.
He's just kind of there.
And he's now given this responsibility absolutely last minute. Now, hold on to that, because we'll see if he actually uses the sword to protect and have that Hollywood moment.
I just came back just in time for a Hollywood moment?
Yes.
Not quite, but it's
Sweet.
coming.
We were talking the fact that Uggo's been given the Sword of Martin as last defense.
Ah, yes. Why did they do that?
We're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
If there was anybody that should have had it, I would have thought Dorka Gertie would have been a better choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big, strong otter, full of confidence, and, probably could actually get some strength behind a sword swing.
Yes.
So while we're waiting on this, after Uggo's, he's determined to live out his duty. Yeah, whatever, kid. Like we said, the good guy grew are just like, ooh, it's gonna be fun when they get here. I do love when Grissom Shrew's like, what about setting up a pile of fire arrows? Then we'll be able to see them. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea. Yes, it's pouring down rain, and that's probably would put out the fire arrows, and you couldn't light them off of fire if it's getting rain.
Right.
But the whole thing with fire arrows is that you're tying an oil-soaked rag. So if it's lit beforehand, it might last a little. Would it actually cause fire on the ship? No. Could it cause further problems if the ship goes up while it's wedged into your front gates? Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
And, I mean, one of them calls it out as basically like, it's raining. Yeah, that was a dumb idea. Sorry.
Also, the wind is blowing. The arrow might come right back at us. Message for you, sir. And we're just basically saying, like, the vermin vessel is coming at it. I mean, add your train noise in here. As it comes, train horn as it comes forward. So, and Scorch is like, oh, goody. Come at me, bro. And, yep, the ship is basically dead center. Is this where we collide? Is this chapter where it collides?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, it goes right through the gates.
Yep.
And I have to ask, how big are Redwall's gates for the ship to be able to basically, go through, even part way? They have to be huge.
I'm genuinely surprised the stone doesn't take any real damage. Again, sandstone's not a strong stone.
This isn't an architectural book.
I know.
It's...
But, quote, thrust and warmed by the gate's force, the ship ran into the open gateway. Both gates were ripped from their hinges. Yeah, Redwall's going to need new ones of that. Carrying on with momentum as they cleaved to the sides of the Phobie's craft. Cracking and snapping in timber, the mast hit the main arch, breaking like twigs as they struck the stonework. Some vermin were killed amongst the wreckage, crushed by falling timbers and rigging. So, it doesn't actually say the ship stops.
But Kite Slayer
sounds
also
like
dies here, too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like the ship goes completely through the gates. Again, how big are these gates? Because we talked about these wheels being massive. The ship is big. How big are these gates?
Yep. And yes, to Katie's point, we do lose one of the more enjoyable otters, Kite Slayer, and basically she takes a giant arrow.
Which also made me sad. Not as sad as with Swiffa, but
Yeah. So, right, let's see. Defenders of Walltop felt the rampart stonework shudder as the big ship was forced under the storm's momentum right through the Abbey.
Yeah.
So it goes over the lawns. Now, that ship's going to lose momentum when it hits the gates. Yes. Presumably, it's heading for the main Abbey door. That's what we're reading here.
Sounds like it.
So, yep. Basically, Ruggin, though, he gets up on ship and causes the rudder to twist, which, why would that matter when it's not in the water?
I don't understand how this thing is functionally working, so we're just going to shrug and say it works.
The ship does ultimately stop when it hits a huge ancient elm, presumably on the grounds. I think Ruggin turned it into the elm, is what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a massive fight.
As is tradition.
Yep.
As is tradition.
Also, the Logolog gets his clogs back.
Yeah, Logolog's about to kick some vermin's skulls in.
He finds the vermin who stole his footwear and takes it back. What are those clogs made of? Because he sends sparks with those clogs when they click together.
I seem to remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember him having like steel tips or like steel soles, like metal on them.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I mean, it would make sense.
Yep.
Even if it doesn't say, that's officially my headcanon now. He's
That's
basically
fine
got,
with me.
he can click them together and start fires.
I like it.
And Score is, and this is said outright, he is in full blood wrath because he is going to kill Razid no matter what he has to do. And this week, we didn't cover this earlier, but several people have all sworn to kill Razid. And versus like all the way back with Matthias and Orlando, who are just like, I'm killing him. No, I'm killing him. They're all just like, well, who gets there first?
This really is like Gabul all over again.
Yep. So, Razid,
But with much less charm, though. I mean, like,
well, yeah.
I don't know. I was way more entertained with Mariel and Dandan and Tarquin and Dury arguing about who gets to kill Kabul.
Oh, yeah. So, basically, Razid realizes that Score is coming for him. One way or another. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go place. Here, Mr. Big Burly Ferret, you want to wear my clothes?
It's a great plan. I'll reward you. Yeah.
I'll reward you. Okay, I'm just gonna go place. Bye. And meanwhile, they're like, hey, it's the giant were-rat who's wearing that particular armor we saw him in earlier. Let's kill him. Slicey dicey, and that's a ferret. That wasn't Razid at all.
I feel cheated.
And there's the ferret's like, oh no, hush you. You'll be well, you won't be fine, but yeah.
His arm's fallen off.
No, it isn't. But, yeah, they're like, where do you suppose Razid got to? I mean, I guess we're having fun killing all his pirates here, but, you know, that's the whole reason we're here. Weird.
Yeah, I have this note of brawny frontal attackers make terrible stealthy sneaks. Razid is going to have a harder time than he thinks.
Yep. And meanwhile, we go back to inside the Abbey with Uggo and Posey, and they're hearing the battle outside, and it's kind of unnerving. At least to Uggo.
I can definitely see that. I can sympathize.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's like, Posey, you're not supposed to be up here. Go back to Cavern Hole with the Redwallers. And at this point, again, I know what happens now because I was reading this, but I was just literally in my mind like, Posey, knock him out and take the sword. Knock him out and take the sword.
You do it.
Because he even goes like, Abbott Liv left me in charge. And she's just like, dude, they're not getting through the barricade. Have you bothered locking the windows? The windows lock?
Is this the point too where he was like, the abbot just told me to watch the door?
Yeah. She's like, he didn't say which door.
Oh my god. I'll go, yeah. And Raz is just like, he went place. He ran it way through the Dark Orchard like, huh. So my men are being absolutely slaughtered. This is not going how I thought it would. So, oh, hi, Bad Tooth, my only loyal friend who helped me figure out who the mutinies were. Would you like me to help me sneak into the Abbey? And I'll totally be okay if we can sneak inside. What was Raz's plan here?
He had a
Good
plan?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't really think there was one.
Basically boiled down to get inside, squish the squishy mice.
Yep. And he kind of shoves Batooth through. He and Batooth try to find a window where they find a storeroom leading into the kitchen. And Batooth, to his credit, is just like, I'm not really the breaking in type. I don't know how to do this. It's like, either you come inside with me or stay outside here after I slit your throat. Like, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So he starts using the trident to try to crack open the storeroom door or window.
I think HR would have a lot to say about how he's handling his underlings. Like, stay out here or I kill you. Or come in here or I kill you. Stay out here. Yeah, whatever.
I'm pretty sure this here is his HR, and we'll see how well that went.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, when you start beating up your HR, don't expect HR to do the things that you want to. Just saying.
Yep. So, then naturally the noise draws Uggo and Posey and apparently a few others, and Razzie looks in the window, is like, "Ooh, easy targets. Go inside. I'll give quote. I will give them something to be scared of. You keep an eye out for any wave dogs or rabbits." Rude. Basically, as they finally get in through the door window of the storm door, Razzie's just like, "Okay, Batooth, in you go."
Meat shield.
Yep, pretty much. Chapter 34 begins with a hedgehog wielding the sword of Martin. It's not clear which hedgehog this is. I mean, the obvious suggestion is it's Uggo, and it's actually a kind of cool, pretty well scene. It's in the kitchen, it's holding the sword, and you can see the shadow of the trident, like right over his head. So
I will say, though, as angy as the hedgehog looks, does not look very imposing holding Martin's sword.
No, it doesn't.
It's more like, okay, I'm trying to think. Okay. You walk in to a room and you see a 2-foot-tall Cabbage Patch Kid doll standing there holding a giant stick. Okay, yes, it would be kind of creepy, but at the same time, it'd be more like, oh, is the poor widow doll gonna punch me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what's Clooney thinking at this point, by the way, when he's watching through the afterlife?
I'm guessing he's like, I see what you're trying to do. I will give you added bonus points for moxie. I'm taking away points for technique.
I love this, like the villains critique council.
Yeah, they need it.
Just like Gabool's just like, that's not the way I would do it. I would talk to a bell and stuff. That's the right way to do it.
So what you're saying is Gabul was the belle of the ball?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
So, ultimately, when we finally see Ugo take I'll take him, and everyone's just like, give Ugo room, he's the warrior. Sure. Basically, this is where the window burst inward, and Bad-Tooth comes bounding in, and basically lands right on top of Ugo with the sword. And not, Bad-Tooth's still a vermin, blah, 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 but he just doesn't even get a chance to recognize. He just gets stabbed right in the throat by the sword, and they both drop, and the sword goes skittering. Well, Ugo, you managed to use a sword, kind of.
Sorta.
Razid follows right behind and kicks Bad-Tooth aside doesn't obviously care his friend is dead. Friend, air quotes. It's like, hey.
I was going to say, friend? What is this friend you speak of?
Yeah. Hey, you're that hedgehog from earlier who escaped my ship. I mean, glad that Razid can recognize the face. And
after him.
Yep. He stabs down with the trident, who spears Ugo's footpaw, and he's, they're screaming.
Again.
He likes the spear of paws here.
He really likes it, yeah.
And then the actual Abbey warrior, who should have been the whole time, picks up Martin's sword, and it's Posey.
Although I think the line that she screams at him is kind of hilarious and takes me right out of the moment. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I think it involves dirty old Weirrat.
Yeah. You leave him alone, you dirty old Weirrat.
Yes. Which is like, I just picture this like the little boy in old-timey movies. You get away, you nasty bully.
Yep. And she straight up goes forward lunge right into Raz's chest with the sword.
Yep.
And he's just like, huh, that happened.
That hurts.
That was not part of his plan.
It held him not in his chest, but his stomach.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Hey, that's where my food lives. That wasn't nice.
And
you apologize to my food right now.
He still somehow has the strength to be like, huh, well, I'm going to kill you now. Except it's, die, little spike pig, die. And Jim Gurney, where have you been this whole time? Basically bounds through the open window, swinging a stave, and the Redwall orb deals him a blow, which breaks his skull.
Oh, yeah.
It breaks both the staff and the skull. That's how hard he hit. He hit hard enough to shatter a wooden staff.
Bringing it home.
It's just like, I can only rush. It's like, yeah, that got it.
I was only kind of dead. Now I'm all the way dead.
But no, John explains where the heck he's been. He was in charge of the Wounded Shrews, if you remember from book 2. Yes. And they just now arrived at the Abbey Gate. Huh.
Indeed. I do kind of like that it was a little girl and an old man who saved the day. Yeah. That is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with that development.
Yep.
Yes.
And Jeff's just like, huh, I like this sword. This is mine now.
So, Pete, you were saying that you really didn't want it to be Ugo. So how do you feel about it being Posey and Jum instead?
A lot better.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm not saying Ugo can't grow into a good adult here, but yeah.
At this point, he hasn't earned it.
Yes, he's just been whiny the whole time. Whiny and kind of dumb. Sorry, Ugo, but
that's
ultimately, that's kind of where that whole fight wraps. Now, obviously, there's still the war outside and whatnot. But the remaining
real quickly though.
Yeah, the remaining Green Shell's crew, it happens to be the mutineers. Basically. And they're like, huh. They were basically told the vermin had fled in all directions. Most found the open main gates and exit, stage left.
Mm-hmm.
So the mutineers are trying to fight against the Abbey, are backed up against the Abbey upon and try to fight, and Score and Ray take care of them pretty quick. But the pond has a lot of blood dumped into it, so isn't that their main water source?
Makes them stronger.
It's like,
Sort of like, was it the last book where they're just dumping them in the ditch outside?
yep. But they're like, I do love this last bit where like they do report on the dead. Like, we lost Drander and Willoughby. Lenchak, Drugthrowy, and Luton Scranton are wounded, but they'll be recovered. Everybody else, at least on the hares, are good. Are we told which otters we lost?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Rogue Crew lost Skite, which we know, Kite, Sky Slayer, and Ender Flayblade. So.
Yes, the cool female ones, I believe, were the ones that died, which is sad. Also, Durander kind of made me sad.
And yeah, they're just like, so, want to go chase after the vermin? Yeah. Sounds like fun. And Sister Fist is like, no. No, you will not. And Rake's just like, fine. Okay, we're all wounded. We need to rest. And not like it's going to be back, right? I don't know. Like, the whole... We've seen vermin escape the last 2 times in this section of the book alone, and it comes back to bite them. Maybe they really should go after them.
Maybe, yes.
Maybe, just maybe, they should follow up for once.
Go figure. But it ends since like Redwallers are cheering and yay. And chapter 35 and the epilogue focus on Salamandastron. Like, oh yeah. Right. We haven't seen them since the start of the book.
Indeed.
And it made me wonder, like, why is it called the Rogue Crew if this is our focus at the end?
Because it sounds cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a new group we haven't heard of, which was weird that we haven't heard them before. But, you know.
Yeah.
Coughlin.
So, chapter 35 mostly focuses on the Badger Lady, Violet Wildstripe. Basically like, hey, any word? It's already early autumn. And not really, but if you want to go out on patrol with us, yeah, that'd be fine. We get our patrol marching song. And, hey, is that a ship?
Who could it be?
Yes. Oh, no, it's the Resid, and we're going to have to kill him, and it's our people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like that Lady Violet's like the same age as her hares, pretty much, like the younger hares. So she kind of like, she has this sort of chummy relationship with them.
Mm-hmm. We actually established like, we have a ship now. Navy?
Sort of. Kind of. We have both a water navy and a land navy.
Indeed.
With one boat.
Call them the Marines, if you will.
Oh, no. So, epilogue. We have an actual epilogue, and kind of like the section arts, it's more that Celtic knot, except it's hares on the left, and is that a badger on the right?
Or you asking me?
Yeah, does someone else have it open besides me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to double check here.
Well,
I already put my book. I put my book down. Yes, Celtic knotwork, and hares, and that looks kind of like a badger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of.
They're both figures are like they're just white from the art. It's black and white art, and there might be a hint of a stripe. Yeah, it could be an otter. Yeah, it has to be an otter because of the tail. Badgers have very short tails. So, anyway, it's the ending art is that Celtic knot. We have a little decorative hare on one side, decorative otter on the other, and there's a kind of a slightly abstract two paws coming together, grasping hands like they're friends.
Like the internet meme.
Yes.
So we get the epilogue is a journal entry from Violet Wildstripe, and basically they rename the ship to something completely threatening to vermin will give them strike fear in their hearts. It's the Posey Gertie.
Yeah.
It's a terrible name. An absolutely awful ship's name.
Oh God.
So basically, they've reached an agreement here that the rogue crew with some hairs are going to basically start the Navy for Salamandastron.
Finally.
Yeah.
But it's also, to Matthias's point, it's not just a sea navy, it's a land navy, because wheels on ships.
Wheels on the ship go round and
You
No.
already did that last time. Bad.
So the artwork, by the way, is mentioned that that's the new mainsail, that instead of the scary, spooky trident face, that's what the mainsail's going to be. So, yeah, that kind of wraps that book. And you also have a short letter from Abbot Tibb to the Badger Lady. And basically straight up invites her out to Redwall.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I gotta say, when I first read this book, I wasn't a huge fan of the book overall, but the epilogue, it did kind of make me tear up because number A, like everyone's gonna be okay. Like they have this whole navy going. They're looking out for Redwall. They're looking out for the other creatures. Everyone's gonna be okay. Number B, last epilogue, last book, no more.
Yep.
So I did tear up the first time I read this.
Mm-hmm. Although I just to your abstract numbering system, shouldn't that have been letter 2?
No, I prefer number A.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
You guys, I would like to finish the 4th quarter of the Superb Owl. Do you mind if I have a couple thoughts and then leave?
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I'm with everyone on this. It's not the best book. I don't think it's the worst, but it definitely doesn't feel. It feels a little half-baked in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I'm like Katie. I finished it and I was like, even at this age in my life, it's the first time I've read this. I was like, oh man, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
It still
Just
has plenty of what I love about this. Especially anytime I got to the food, I got a little nostalgic. I was like, this is the last thing I'm going to read about food, you know?
I know.
It had some of the beats and all that, and just, it wasn't perfect, but.
Well, you know what that means. You got to start over again. Start over with book
start
one.
over again.
Yep.
Yeah, which I would love to do.
Yes.
I got thoughts on Mossflower, believe me.
Because I know there are some that you haven't read. You really should.
No, I've read them all.
You have? I thought there was.
No, I
was
haven't
something...
finished Loam Hedge.
Ah.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yes. Yep.
Get on it.
Okay, will do. I will see you guys later.
All right. See ya.
Have a good one.
So
You too. Bye.
Bye.
overall, as a book, this is not the worst one. I don't think.
What do you think is the worst one, just out of curiosity?
I don't think there's anything bad books, let me start this, but some of them are more forgettable than others.
I agree.
Eulalia.
I think there are some books that there are no bad Redwall books. There are some that you just aren't as good as the others.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about books that we absolutely ripped to shreds, I think there's only one book that falls into that category.
That's true.
It was Outcast.
Yeah.
Now, that all said, since this one, when we brought this point up originally in book one, like, how much are we going to consider that this came out posthumously, and we don't know how much Brian penned and how much was finished by his publisher and a ghostwriter. I'm not going to speculate to that point, but what I will say is this feels very paint by numbers.
Yeah, it definitely feels there's something off about it.
Like, there is definitely if we're gonna question how much Brian did, my thought is that he had the idea of basically the core idea, and probably a good chunk of the book finished, but someone had to wrap everything together. And things that probably came up with Brian, like maybe for comedy or other bits that didn't translate very well to when the editor finished, say, Drug Book. There's something off. Like I said, paint by numbers, but that's kind of about it, what it feels like. Am I saying this is a bad book? No, but is it one of the lesser books? Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, as far as Redwall books go, like, I'm not going to ever hate any Redwall books, but Rogue Crew still continues to be my least favorite out of all of them. Not to say that there weren't parts that I enjoyed, because there definitely were. Like, I think rereading it now has given me a little bit more affection for those parts. Like, I really do love Swiffo. I really do like the sort of the cautious friendship into the deeper friendship between the hares and the otters. I really do like that. But there are just some weird stuff in this book. The protagonist I did not like at all. Posey was fine. But yeah, there were just a lot of those things that brought it down for me.
And for me, as a book, I can't say I really agree with people in the fandom that think the book was disappointing. I mean, it's not a 9 out of 10 masterpiece or anything, but it's a solid story with little that I can point to as bad. It's average, at least by Brian's standards. And, you know, as we just said, there really are no bad Redwall books. And for the most part, a lot of Brian's writings are, at least an 8 or 9 out of 10. So I give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's not going to win awards, but I don't regret reading it either. The only thing I'll say that is kind of point, the book did end a bit abruptly. But
yes,
all in all, the story tied up the primary plot threads well enough. I'm glad that I read the book only once before reading it now. It gave me a chance to grow as a person and appreciate it. This last book, it feels more poignant. And, I mean, when you stop and you think about it, there's only really 3 ways that a final Redwall book could go out. It could go out terribly. It could go out amazing with like this big kind of blaze of glory end. Or it can go out like every other Redwall book. And honestly, that's what this one goes out like, every other Redwall book. And there's kind of a poetry to that. It's not meant to be some giant piece of epic fantasy. No, it's just like all the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a bit
I mean, to bring it down just a bit, I don't want to make anyone sad, but like, I don't think Jakes knew that this was going to be the last Redwall book,
Oh, probably not.
So
guaranteed.
Yeah, so like he wasn't trying to make like this huge epic ending.
No. And I mean, I'm not sure. This isn't Lord of the Rings. You don't have a definite ending point. There's no way to do that. So, no matter what, even if Brian had lived longer and kept writing books, it would have looked exactly like this one.
Right. Okay, so I just thought of a question. If Brian had lived long enough to end the series on his own terms, what do you think that would have looked like?
I mean, it's not like Salamander or Redwall would have been destroyed. They would have existed and still be in good guy hands. Could we seen like one last epic battle? Yeah, maybe, but...
Or maybe he would bring back a Badger Mom again, just for old time's sake. Or, like, I don't know, have, like, a young abbot or abbess that would carry everything forward nicely.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would say if I had to write an ending, I'm just thinking I would actually write this from the point of Martin in the Dark Forest.
Oh.
Maybe as a kind of a final reflection of everything while he watches, yet another takeover attempt.
With Rose.
Yeah.
And gone from Rose.
And just reflecting on, he's questioning how much do they still need him? And maybe that's where I would write this. Like, however many hundreds of years it's been since Redwall existed, like, do they still need him as a guiding spirit? That's where I would end it. And, maybe yes, maybe no, but I can see a lot of good conversations coming out of that as kind of like the series finally, for lack of a better way to put this, growing up.
Yeah.
I can see that. And as for me, I'm going to do something really unpopular. I'm going to destroy Martin's sword.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
Because
interesting, though.
The point of an ending is to create new beginnings.
Yeah, that's true.
So have something so big that Martin's sword doesn't survive, leading to one of either two possibilities. One, the sword gets reforged, or two, they face the question of, but do we really need this?
Yeah.
Because the question is, how much growth has Redwall gone through that it can survive without Martin's sword? This is kind of like the opposite side of what you were suggesting, Pete. It's like, have they grown beyond Martin? Have they grown beyond Martin's sword? So I think if you kind of take both of those ideas, kind of gently massage them together, you get a really interesting story of, okay, here's the character that really set all the events that would let the series happen in motion. Let's bookend it by saying, okay, his time is done now. Yeah, he's an important historical figure, but he doesn't need to be that defining element of Redwall for its entire lifespan.
Nice.
It's a lot to consider, to be certain. I mean,
yes.
Invariably, we click.
Is somebody clicking something?
It's not on my end. It's gone now. That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ultimately, this is a series I think that would be very hard to write an ending for.
Yes.
And my question that maybe we can spend an entire episode discussing, and we probably will, because we do need to talk about what's next, is what happens if a ghostwriter took over or, becomes, what was the name of the Hardy Boys? The name of the collective writer that the Hardy Boys from Nancy drew?
Oh, wasn't that Dixon?
Yeah.
Yeah, Franklin and W. Dixon was Hardy Boys. So, would another writer taking over be okay? Would it not? That's kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think we kind of ended with the series as it needed to end. With things, frankly, status quo.
I mean, that's basically how the entire series operated, so...
Yeah.
Why change it now?
I'm not saying this series couldn't... So I think the series could do some change, yes. But that's a whole conversation for another time. Ultimately, if we're just taking the Road Crew by itself, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't stand out, but I don't think it detracts from the overall series. Yeah, there are problems with it, but I think we nitpicked over far more problems with like Outcast, Eulalia, I mean, hey, we all
Loamhedge.
hated Scarum.
Yes.
Yeah, Loamhedge. I mean, none of the books are without a little something here or there, some more so than others.
Yes. And I mean, part of the reason that this one might not feel as real to me is because there's no audiobook, which is how I prefer to consume my Redwall content.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
So that said, folks, because I'm sure the question becomes, what is next? Well, honestly, this has been a lot to get to this point.
We did it.
We did.
We survived. We are officially the first Redwall podcast to complete this series.
Well, before you started recording, you mentioned that a lot of our sister podcasts are currently on hiatus, right?
I think all of them are at this point.
As far as I know, we're the only ones that are still plugging along. Although, to be honest, we have taken far more huge
Breaks.
gaps between episodes.
Yes, indeed. So, what comes next? I think, honestly, our next episode will probably have that recap, like we did when we hit the middle of the franchise. We talk about, hey, reflecting back on it as a whole. After that, we're going to have some fun, and with Matthias' favorite topic of fan fiction.
Yes, and trivia. I still owe you guys trivia.
Trivia and then fan fiction, shall we say.
I have not forgotten about the trivia.
After that, folks, there's still plenty of discussions we're going to have here on the back end of what we're going to do next, but there will be some fun stuff. We'll talk about best and worst. We'll talk, we may do rapid fire recaps of every book. Well, there's another thought tossed around, but it's not over yet, folks.
Nope. And if you have suggestions, if you really want us to talk about something, if you want to come on the podcast and talk to us with us about something, email us at rotwpod@gmail.com. Shameless plug.
Yes, please. We don't get nearly as much like fan interaction as we would like. We want to hear from you. We want you to submit ideas to Recorder on the Wall email. Where am I going with this?
Oh, by the way, because I pulled this up on iTunes, see what reviews we have, which we don't have anything new, which is fine. Officially, according to the iTunes listing through our RS feed, we have 129 episodes.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I just gotta say, like, you should feel very proud of yourself, Pete, for starting this thing, seeing it through to the end of all the 22 books. Like,
and I blame it on a breakup.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment, and thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Same here, dude. I remember when you first put the call out on r/Eulalia. Is those things just like, yeah, I want to try to do this. I did this. It's been fun.
Yeah, I sent an email like, hey, I'm a blind person. Can I talk about some of the blind characters?
And you did.
I did.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. I'm Pete.
I'm Matthias.
Oops.
And we're going to help Matthias pick up the library here.
Okay.
Okay, start this pile over there. Put it on the table. I need to sort through them.
Okay.
Quick, when he's looking, let's go get some lunch.
Arby's.
I heard that.
Dang it.